Okay, we're back with another Snow White reaction video since my other one was so popular, if you can't tell I'm being sarcastic. But I do have some opinions that I'd like to get off my chest regarding the Snow White soundtrack. Mind you, I've not watched the movie, I'm basing my opinion solely on what I'm hearing, and I want to remind you guys, I am not an expert of any kind, so take what I say with a spoonful of salt. I am an everyday Joe or Joanna like the rest of you, so my opinion is just some random person's opinion on the internet. Keep that in mind. Also, if I sound different, it's because I'm sick and I want to get this video out by this weekend before people start seeing the movie. With that said, let's dive into this review. This is a decent opening number and is giving me animation vibes such as 90s and early 2000s with movies like Swan Princess and Quest for Camelot, where the film often opens with the song introducing the world that the story takes place in. It's definitely setting up that whimsical vibe that I feel a lot of fantasy movies are missing nowadays. With that said, I do have a criticism with some of the lyrics. I get what they're saying, that they're open and very welcoming people, but I'm getting naivety as well, and maybe that's the point. I just don't like that line, "What's mine is always yours." This could work in an animation, but a live action setting, even a whimsical one, it just bothers me. Other than that, it's a decent song. Anyway, last thing I want to say about this song is that it sounds an awful lot like Let It Grow from the Lorax movie. Let it grow, like it did so long ago, where the good things go. Keep note of this because I'm going to be doing a lot of comparisons. With the reprise version, they have children singing that one, and I assume this takes place after Snow White's father passes away and the evil queen takes over and drastically changes everything. However, I'm hearing 3 distinct children's voices. The high-pitched one is obviously young Snow White, but I'm curious who the other 2 kids are. I think one of them might be the love interest. Waiting on a wish. Here we are back again at this song. Yes, I don't like the song, but I do acknowledge that it's a well-crafted song, and I want to be clear that I'm not criticizing Rachel's singing abilities. I know this woman can sing, but my issue is that the song itself sounds a bit too generic. It's everything you expect from a Disney song, but it feels like it's lacking a bit of personality, and I also think the song runs a bit too long as well. I'm aware this is probably going to piss a lot of you off, but at least I'm being honest with you. Heigh-Ho! My first criticism is that I'm disappointed that they didn't open the song with a clink clink sound. I think that's a unique intro to a song and I wish they had kept that, but from what I'm hearing, it seems that they plan to introduce the dwarves going to the mines instead of them already being there like in the original, and I think the reason they did that was to get in that iconic line. Heigh-Ho, it's off to work we go. In the original, they don't say that until after they meet Snow White, and I guess the producers were just too impatient. Other than that, I have no issue with the song, and I think it's decently performed and it has a nice tune. However, like the last song, I do think it runs a bit too long. Other than that, it's a good song. Just not my cup of tea. Where the hell do I start with this one? The lyrics are mostly fine. In fact, there was one line that I really liked and it got a smile out of me. But to start, I don't have the heart as you may recall. That was a fun line, but let's finally address the elephant. Like I previously mentioned, Gal is not the strongest actress and I have no idea how she's going to do in this movie. I am rooting for her, but the song is not giving me that much confidence. When she sings the quiet parts, she's okay, but when she gets into those bigger notes, that's when things start to fall apart for me. First off, it sounds like she's trying ever so slightly too hard. Claim your prize if you wanna rise, someone's gotta fall. I'm aware that perhaps because of who her character is, that maybe she's trying too hard on purpose, but it's still painful to hear. The note just does not sound right, which is weird because when Gal sings the longer notes, it sounds a lot better. This has me wondering if maybe they auto-corrected her. Also, the tone of the song gives the impression that the singer is a flamboyant and bombastic character. However, while the queen is vain, she is somewhat reserved. Her outfit portrays that as she keeps herself covered and the outfit is simplified. Not to mention, in the original movie, the queen's personality changes after she sheds the beauty she's desperately holding onto and becomes the old hag, almost as if she's no longer having to hide her true nature because she's just as wretched on the outside as she is on the inside. But if the queen's already somewhat exuberant as the song's suggesting in this remake, I'm curious to see how they'll tackle that transformation. With that said, I want to address something that's been bothering me with current musicals. I don't think it's fair to cast actors that aren't the strongest singers in roles meant for musicals. It's not fair because it makes them look like fools, but also it's not fair on the actors that can sing and are not given a chance to showcase their talents. I did not think it was right to cast Judi Dench as Old Deuteronomy in the 2019 hellscape that was Cats, knowing full well that everyone that watched that movie was going to compare her performance to the 1998 film. That was cruel. Not to mention, in the movie Wicked, I did not think it was fair to cast Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible when she herself acknowledged that she can't sing, and everyone who watched the movie was in agreement that she was the weakest performer. And to add insult to injury, the woman who played the bearded lady in The Greatest Showman, who we know can sing, was not given a chance to sing at all in the musical besides maybe being part of an ensemble. And now we have Gal Gadot, who could have made the song work if it was more of a spoken performance, similar to what they did with Be Prepared in the 2019 Lion King remake. But because they wanted that big bombastic number, at least from what I'm hearing, Gal was not the ideal choice. One more thing I want to add. Yes, the song is reminding me of another one. Does anyone remember Into the Woods?
It's the last midnight. It's the last wish. All is fair when you wear the crown.
You hear it, right? As for the reprise version, it's fine. It still has the same problems that I already pointed out, but I am curious about the visuals that goes with the song.
Whistle while you work.
Surprisingly, I liked the song. It was charming, and I'm hearing more of Snow White's personality in this song than I did in Waiting on a Wish, which is ironic. Near the end, when they all start singing together, that's the best part for me, and I really liked it. The music itself is giving me those whimsical vibes that I am enjoying with the soundtrack, and it's giving me classic Disney as well. It's really catchy, and I feel like I'm going to get this song stuck in my head at some point. With that said, I do have some issues with it. In the original movie, the arrangement was that Snow White would cook and clean in exchange for the dwarves letting her stay with them. In fact, it was Snow White herself that first proposed this.
And if you let me stay, I'll keep house for you. I'll wash and sew and sweep and cook and...
I understand people's frustrations when they point this out. However, I am seeing this from another perspective. What could be happening with this song in this movie is that Snow White knows she can't stay with them forever and wants to make sure the dwarves know how to take care of themselves so they don't wind up in the same state that she found their house in. That would make the most sense. However, this brings up another issue. When listening to this song, another song immediately came to mind. That's when I noticed an unfortunate problem. Not with the music itself, but with what's being implied. With a spoonful of sugar, Mary Poppins is teaching children how to clean their room, and with Whistle While You Work, Snow White is teaching 7 grown men how to clean their house, who happens to be dwarves. Are you connecting the dots? There has been this stigma when it comes to individuals who happen to look or act different, that because of their differences, they are often viewed lesser than and treated inferior compared to others.
What the minstrel shows were doing was to take any fear a white audience may have had about African Americans, to take that fear out of it. That these childlike figures, they can't hurt you. They can't supervise themselves. They're in need of supervision.
I don't think for a second that was the intention, but you can't deny that the implication is there. I still like the song, and it's one of the better ones in the soundtrack for me, but I am curious how the dwarf characters will be displayed in this number.
Well, that sounds an awful lot like Princess Problems.
I don't like the song. It is catchy, but it just doesn't sound like it belongs in this musical. It sounds out of place. This song would sound better suited for a musical set in the 60s or 70s. Secondly, I don't like Andrew Burnap's singing voice, or it could be how they instructed him to sing the song, which brings me to the main reason why I don't like this song. He sounds like a car salesman, which makes me think of Wicked in the song No One Mourns the Wicked, specifically when they sing about the affair.
Have another drink, my dark-eyed beauty. Famine's on the rise, with vultures circling the skies. I've got one more night left here in town. Waking up to the real world is bringing you down.
Do you hear the similarities? They're even singing in the same damn voice. Another issue that I'm finding with this song is that from what I'm hearing, Andrew's character doesn't appear to be the prince, but he's a love interest that Rachel told us about. I don't know if he's a new character they created in place of the prince, or if he's still the same character and they just took away his legitimacy. If you know me and watch my videos, you know how much that me off when they do that. Also, the song is raising a few flags for me, but I don't want to say anything until we get to Rachel and Andrew's other duet song. Best damn song ever, 10 out of 10, I love it. No critiques, no criticisms, it's perfect. It puts a smile on my face when I hear it, and yes, it does remind me of another song. It reminds me of Sound of Music and its yodeling song, The Lonely Goat Herd.
High on a hill was a lonely goat herd, lay, hoodle-lay, hoodle-lay,
Okay, I do have one criticism. I wish the song wasn't called a silly song. It's too good to be called that. It shows how little people think of yodeling.
'Cause a hand meets a hand.
I used to think that this world would forever stay broken.
I think I just don't like Andrew's singing voice. I'm starting to think that maybe Rachel was right and he should have been cut from the film. However, that's minor compared to the other issue I'm having with this song. If I'm right and Andrew's character is not the prince, he does remind me of another Disney character, and that is Flynn Rider from Tangle. If you go back to Princess Problems, the attitude the character is displaying in the song comes off similar to Flynn Rider, who is a self-centered character. And then there's the dichotomy between the characters and their love interest. Both Snow White and Rapunzel are kind-hearted and somewhat naive, while Flynn and Andrew's character are scoundrels and thieves and maybe even a charmer. Hell, the song A Hand Meets a Hand is damn nearly identical to I See the Light from Tangle.
All those days watching from the windows, all those years outside looking in, I used to think that the way through the woods would be lonely. Now I'm here, blinking in the starlight. Now I'm here, suddenly I see. Maybe wherever this road goes, I won't have to walk it alone.
All that time, never truly seeing things the way they were.
I used to think that this world would forever stay broken.
If she's here, it's crystal clear, I'm where I'm meant to go.
But who knows, when we're together, the time slows.
At last I see the light,
So I start to let go, just to see what'll grow.
Oh shit. How much you want to bet their song is going to take place in this scene with the fireflies? If I'm right, this would aesthetically mimic the I See the Light scene. I'm aware they're planning to do a live-action Tangle, and I'm wondering now if perhaps Andrew's character is somehow a demo version of Flynn Rider. I don't know what to think of this. You tell me what you think. Let's move on. There's something I want to address about the two duets these characters have. I noticed that in this particular song, when Andrew starts singing, the music shifts from being orchestral to pop music. I know why they did this. It's to showcase the two personalities of these characters and how they're coming together in the song. I have no qualms with this, although I don't like that they used a pop-sounding music. My issue is that they didn't give Snow White the same courtesy in the song Princess Problems. I'm aware that technically that is Andrew's character introduction song and that the music would obviously match his character's personality. However, I just feel that when Snow sings, the music should be more defining to her, similar to the song A Hand Meets a Hand and how the music drastically changed when it was Andrew's turn to sing.
'Cause a hand meets a hand.
I used to think that this world would forever stay broken.
When it's Snow's turn to sing in Princess Problem, the music does not change, but instead they add a string of piano notes, and that's all her character gets.
Charming speech, but are you done?
I know some might point out that because Snow's personality is defined as soft and gentle, that's why her music isn't as dominant, which I agree. However, they could have used that as a tool to better craft the situation in the song. In Princess Problem, instead of the music consistently favoring Andrew, what if the music's tone changes to feature Snow's personality when she sings? It can still have the same beat, it'll just have a different style. But the longer the song goes on, the less prominent Snow's music is, showcasing how stubborn Andrew's character is and how Snow can't reason with him, therefore her music gets swallowed up by his. After all, these characters do have opposing opinions, so musically this would make sense. With this example, you get a far more intimate understanding of these two characters' positions, because that's the whole point of musicals. The music within musicals are tailor-made to be more insightful to a character's perspective, so I don't know why they wouldn't allow the music to assist in that and use it to its fullest potential. Sorry for the rant, I just need to get this off my chest. We're almost done, so let's move on.
Someone fearless.
It's a 9 out of 10. Rachel delivered on that one. My one criticism that keeps the song from being a 10 out of 10 is when after the first line is sung, instead of Snow White addressing herself as a third person, I think it would be more impactful if she finally addressed herself in first person. From what I've gathered from this musical, Snow White's main motive is that she wants to become the person her parents, specifically her father, encouraged her to be. Someone fearless, fair, brave, and true. She seems to have all those qualities except for maybe brave, but when she chooses to stop hiding from the queen and confront her, she acquires that last trait she was lacking, showcasing the confidence she was lacking in her I Wish song in the beginning. The symbolism of her going from third person to first would have been the icing on the cake, completing her character's growth. That was the Snow White soundtrack, and surprisingly, I'm liking what I'm hearing, except for a few songs of course. And I gotta say, I prefer this soundtrack over the Mufasa one. As for the story, I'm not really all that concerned about it. From what I've seen in the trailer and from what I'm hearing in the soundtrack, this version seems to be following the original without changing too much, except for the ending, and I'm very curious how they're going to tackle the queen's death. In the original, she dies trying to kill the dwarves who are chasing her up a cliff after Snow eats the apple. However, it's clear the queen gets away, otherwise Snow doesn't get her grand entrance. But I'm also curious if they're going to go through with the kiss or not. There is one concern I do have when it comes to the story. From what the songs are telling me, Snow White's main motive is given to her by her parents. In the song Good Things Grow, Snow White isn't sure what she should be wishing for, and it's her parents that sets up that goal for her.
Make a wish for all you want to be.
All I see is water.
And the seed of someone who will lead. Someone fearless.
Someone fearless.
Someone fair.
Someone fair.
Someone brave.
Someone brave.
Someone true.
From what I'm hearing from the soundtrack, that never changes. Sure, she wants to liberate her kingdom, but that's what everyone wants. What does she want for herself that isn't already dictated by another character? She does get close with the song A Hand Meets a Hand.
So I start to let go and give in to the glow.
She wants to let go of her worries and just live in the moment with the guy she's falling in love with, but then she reverts back to wanting what her parents wanted for her. I think this can be easily fixed. Instead of Snow's parents giving her a goal to wish on, they tell her she'll think of something when the time is right, something along those lines. That way, when she sings Waiting on a Wish, that's when she declares her goal to be fearless, fair, brave, and true. I still don't like that addition. It's too similar to Mulan, and this may sound weird as but I don't think it's a coincidence that I'm thinking of other films, specifically Disney films, when I'm hearing this movie's music. That's the weird feeling I was getting in my previous video. Anyway, that's all I have to say about the soundtrack. Let me know what you think after you go and listen to the soundtrack because I couldn't play it in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and like and subscribe!